From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event. It's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds. A movement of momentum. Seafood on fire. Lancelot. Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC experience, mastermind, where purpose is found.
Good morning.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
So what do you guys think of the new video?
Banging. Love it.
Well, I've got to say the song always brings the joy, but I like the adjustments of Atlanta and our recent pictures that we added on there from the prior event in Tampa and so on and so forth. So yeah, I like it. It's beautiful.
Oh. Well, we have two exceptional human beings in the background who are going to jump on in. Jacqueline and Marco. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, today is the Green Day, and I didn't even realize it. Well, but St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St.
It's today. I thought it was yesterday.
Speaking of that, I'll be right back.
Oh, wow. Well, happy Patty's Day. Wow. He might be going to get an O'Doul's or something up there.
O'Doul's. That's funny. So thinking about what we're doing today and how we're coming. Good morning, Daniel. He was also
good morning.
Who was with us in Tampa and our keynote speaker. Good morning. Good morning. Let's consider what we're talking about today, the power of the mastermind. We've all heard what a mastermind is, but if you think about the book that actually talks about a mastermind is what? Think and Grow Rich, right? And Napoleon Hill talks about the junto. In Spanish, junto is Junto, is junto. That means together. I don't know if you guys knew that, right? Junto means together. So junto that may be a Latin word. I'm not 100% sure, but it means coming together creatively. Everybody shares a part of who they are. Create the bigger brain, if you will, of the operation. So this is why I love the topic that we're on today.
Well, I will say, more brains together it's so powerful when people are in that room together and and somebody, usually masterminding is about a particular topic.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, nice.
Top of the morning to you, Jose. Top of the morning.
Good morning. Carry on.
Jose, so we were talking about the mastermind, and I mentioned while you were gone looking for your stuff that Think and Grow Rich definitely talks about the mastermind as a junto, right? Junto, and which means coming together, right? And to create a mastermind. And Jacqueline was going to share some insights with us as well.
So I was just going to say, so when more people get together, and usually in a mastermind, there's specific topics or an idea that somebody's bringing up. Good morning, Jimmy. And when there are multiple people with different perspectives coming together, the actual brain power and the energy that happens, it's so incredibly powerful. And the mastermind is really also about the people that you're coming together with. It's the right people for the right room. Not every mastermind is the right is the place for everybody, right? So you have to pick and choose the room that you're in the mastermind really carefully so that you are with the right people to help, with the right knowledge to elevate each other. And it's why it's like if the topic, the right room also does change everything. Because you could be in a mastermind group and going every week or going into a networking group every single week, but the people in there aren't the right people for you. So you need to pick and choose carefully. But when you are in that right room, God, the power, it's electrifying.
Well, that's why the right room changes everything, right?
Yep.
I've gotta elaborate on this because this is one of my happy places.
It's hard to hear you, Jose, with all that gloom.
It's one of my happy places that what Jacqueline is discussing, which is the traditional mastermind, right? And as we all know, Napoleon Hill from the book Think and Grow Rich brought a very classic core idea of the mastermind, and his actual definition of a mastermind, because he's one of the pioneers that kind of put that idea, the concept on the map. I don't know if he's the exact person who created the mastermind, but I know he made it famous. And again, the book Think and Grow Rich. So if you haven't read that book, anybody out there is watching live or in the replay, read the book. But he talks about the definition. His actual definition of the mastermind is the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Right? So the coordination and knowledge of knowledge and effort. So people coming together with their knowledge and their effort in a spirit of harmony. We're all in it together here to try and achieve a desired outcome with two or more people. So it's a group effort for the attainment of a definite purpose, right? We're trying to get an outcome out of this. So a mastermind is not just networking. It's not just collaboration. It's not just the right room per se. It is, we are here for this purpose, for our collective minds to come together so that we can create something special and we can all walk away equipped in a better way with more knowledge and more expertise. And that's really the core essence of a mastermind. And I think a lot of people, in today's age, a lot of people are throwing around mastermind and I'm going to do mastermind. And I think it's important to really, truly understand the mastermind because, and I think Brandon Godoris, I've been to, Brandon and I do events together, and he's brought this up in just about all of his talks that he does, at least from what I've seen, his keynotes that he does. And I agree with it. And he got it from Napoleon Hill. Again, Napoleon Hill says a third invisible mind is created, right? When two minds come together, a third invisible mind is created. And that's the power of a mastermind, is we're creating that third mind with our collective knowledge.
Absolutely. In looking at the content of the book itself, right? He goes into desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, which is a mastermind, right? Decision, persistence, the power of the mastermind. The power of the mastermind. Jimmy Woods is joining us, and he's coming in because he heard the power of the mastermind and the subconscious, the sixth sense. So all of these things that are going to help us understand where we're coming from, right?
Well, the key word, Sifu, what you just said, how you're saying it, that word mastermind, like it's like it's greater, right? It's the greater good. The key word, Sifu, what you just said, saying it.
Someone's getting feedback. There's something going on.
I heard that too.
Yeah, that was Jimmy. Jimmy, we're getting feedback from you, brother. So I muted you for a second so you can solve it. Because for a second, I really enjoyed your ceiling. So when we consider the mastermind And that's something that we do at all of our events at New York City Mastermind Experience. That's why we named it that. Initially, we did New York City Experience, but then we really came together because we were all coming together. The mastermind is truly what brought it all. It cultivated what the message that we were trying to bring to everybody. Because we did that. Lancelot, can you hold up the book you were writing in a minute ago?
Oh, you saw me? How was it?
I saw you. I see everything, man. Right.
I was writing my gratitude. I had messed up. I'm supposed to do it before 7:00. So I was doing everything else and forgot to do the gratitude. So I was trying to write it before.
So that particular book, a smaller version of it, and it was a pocket version. I created that for, you have that one too. I created that. So see, it's a smaller version. So that when we're hanging out together, it's something that you can put in your pocket, and that if you have an idea, you have a thought, you share it. But one of the things that we did a little differently is that we had somebody that was in your group to write something about you. And that was kind of cool, right? So we all wrote in each other's books. And when I handed it to somebody, I said, do me a favor, write in your book. You know what they did? They signed their name and gave them back to me. And I was like, okay, that tells me plenty. That tells me that I need to reach out to you more often so I can get more information. But so when we came together is because we created a mastermind between Lancelot and I, Jose and I, Lancelot and Jose, and then the three of us together collectively created this mastermind. And then we keep bringing all these incredible people to come and share with us. So anybody have any thoughts on
that? I would just expound on that and say that before coming in, I didn't even know what a mastermind was until I experienced it. And then I understood how powerful it is, because I understand the whole idea about proximity is power, and you learn from people that are like-minded people. But it wasn't until the first one, when we all got together and started, and then actually the second one, the one across the street from Madison Square Garden, where we had the mastermind, and we were sitting down in groups collectively trying to figure out certain things. And I got it. I understood that collective minds together is better than one mind. And like Jose says, you create this third mind, which is the power broker. You know what I mean? And so I truly understand now how important it is to surround yourself first and foremost by like-minded people that are going in the same direction with you. And if you're the smartest person in the room, get the hell out of that room and find another room to get into, so that you could be a part of a mastermind that is elevating you. So this has been an incredible and learning experience for me, because each time we get into or create another room, you learn so much more, and you learn how to navigate even more. You know, at least for myself.
Absolutely. So let's bring Marco on. Marco has been to his first mastermind with us. Marco, what was your experience like being in that room? And from the last time you were on, you told us that you didn't know what to expect. So now you experienced it, and you experienced a true powerful mastermind. What was it like for you?
It was definitely an eye-opener. I really had no idea, like you said, what to expect, but being there, I felt welcomed into the room, and there was a few keywords that I continuously wrote down in my book. And one of the main ones was alignment. I just kept hearing that the whole weekend, was that the power of alignment is everything, and being able to walk into a room with people that align with you and your values and your intentions, it's truly powerful. And that third mind that Jose was talking about was obviously considered, but I hadn't really experienced it until I was in that room, because we all know that two minds is better than one, but being there with great minds in that room specifically just showed me what the power of a true mastermind can do for you and what it can do for other people as well, how it can help people. Like I said, I think last call I was talking about how I just want to keep spreading the message and bringing more people along to the next mastermind. And every time I come, I want to have a new guest with me, where I can show someone the value that I received. It's almost like you have to open the door for these people because most of these people have no idea. And other masterminds that I've heard of just don't match up with this one specifically. This one was just different in itself. And I could feel just how successful it was for everybody there. The vibes in the room were immaculate.
If I may,
Yeah.
and first, good morning, Angeline. But what is so beautiful, and I just got goosebumps listening to him, is that we're bringing the next generation along. This is Sifu Seed, and now he has coming to his own. Now, he's known about it, but this is his first mastermind, and to hear him speaking, it's beautiful because it's allowing the next generation to understand how important it is to communicate and to be around like-minded people. And although they're learning from us, when you bring that young energy in, we're also vibing and learning from them as well. So this symbiotic relationship, that's great. So I love the fact that we have this young future. The future is with us, you know, and the fact that he wants to bring other people in is a beautiful thing. And we are truly making a difference in the world when you start connecting the different generations together as one, with one purpose in mind. So I think it's just to hear him talk is a beautiful thing.
100%. Thank you.
I'd like to hear from the Irish guy in the room.
Who's that? Oh, Steve, what are you talking about? Yeah. So my patron saint is Saint Patrick, so that's part of the allure. I also enjoy cold beer, so that helps. And then I like the color green because green usually means financial independence. So that's also a good thing, right? So there's a lot of things I like about St. Patrick. And my wife is half Irish, so she has that in her. As a matter of fact, dinner tonight's going to be quite amazing because she's doing like a corned beef, meal with all the workings. That goes back to the Irish tradition. But anyway, in terms of I'll just elaborate based on what Lancelot just said. That was right off of Marco, and that is, I love the next generation piece because Noah, is going to ride in Marco's circle and vice versa. They don't know it yet, but they're going to. And then of course Dylan from Ireland is already talking to Noah, and that's Dave Hurley's son, right? And so I think it's important to keep passing the torch, right? Because Marco will pass the torch eventually, and it's that's what this is about. It's constantly saying, okay, what needs to happen? Who needs to hear this? Who needs to be in the room? And I'm glad that I was able to be in that mastermind experience with Marco because he brought a lot of expertise. I mean, he knows he's younger, right? He's a lot younger than me, a lot younger than all of us on this panel. But his expertise in his expertise in the bodybuilding and health and wellness is beyond anything that I know. Right. So that's the power. It's not so much age. It's about the collective wisdom that everybody has in their given field and their what they do and what they're passionate about. Right. So, and I understand that ideas are not certain ideas are not accessible with your own mind. Sometimes you have to come with that collective. Right. And that's where the ideas are born. The new ideas, new concepts are born in that collective, in that mastermind experience because they don't happen alone. Right. So for me, it's that important concept. And again, I go back to Napoleon Hill because whenever I think mastermind, I think Napoleon Hill. Is you don't just get access to people when we get together. We get access to their thinking, right? And that's the real power, is we get access to people's thinking, because people's thinking become words that are expressed in the mastermind, right? So to me, if I had to give people one takeaway from anything that I'm saying or what's been said so far, is that we are all one conversation away from a breakthrough in your life or your business that you can't access by yourself.
I gotta say, Jackson may have to start bringing her son in too, down the line.
Oh, he would actually be fantastic. I mean, he's, you know, and we're talking about the generational passing of knowledge and the actions that we do and that we bring. It's so great to see that knowledge pass, and seeing, you know, like seeing Marco like that, you know, take it to the next level with, you know, his peers. And then when I see my son and my daughter, it just, you know, it just warms your heart when you see that they're taking a lot of this, the greatness that we collectively bring, and they're using it, you know, amongst their friends and their peers.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, again, that's where, you know, if we can trickle down all the good things, that, again, hopefully we can make things better, right, for the rest. And so it's really great to see that. But I wanted to share something that just, you know, as Jose was speaking, one of the biggest things about masterminding and being in a room with the right people is that you have to be open to listening and hearing, and being open to taking in knowledge, and not just being the person who's like basically spewing and pontificating, right? It's a collective place to learn and grow. And we have to acknowledge that every single person in the room, every one of us brings something different, and you need to be open to hearing everybody's message. Because that's where, like, so many times people, they think they're open, but they're actually not. So you really have to be open to hearing the messages.
Yeah, without a doubt. There's a flow to it when we allow other people to share their genius. And sometimes, and so I've seen it done so many times, where somebody starts speaking and the other person goes, I know exactly what you're going to say. And they cut them off, and they don't allow them to share their genius. And then what happens is that person shuts down, and that person goes, why am I even here? Why do I even want to be in this room? So if you've ever been in a room like that, get out, come join us. We give you the space. We give you the ability to be able to talk and express yourself, because even though I may know what you know, you're going to shine different light on it that I've never, ever heard of. And this is why, for me, I'm an avid learner, just like everybody in this room. We need to be able to learn from everyone. But if we silence them, there's no way we can learn. So a true mastermind is giving everybody a voice. And that's what we are curating with the New York City Mastermind experience. Everyone has a voice, including, and we don't exclude anybody from it. If you're in the room, you have a voice, period. It doesn't matter if we gifted you a seat, or it doesn't matter if you paid for your seat, and it doesn't matter the value of your seat. Because when we break out into masterminds, everybody has a voice, and everybody has a chance to listen to everyone else speak. And this is why we give out booklets so people can take notes, because I can be super honest with you guys that no matter how many times I've heard somebody say something, I learn again. Jose, how many times have you read this book? I read it every year.
Thank you,
once or
Robert.
twice.
I've read
This people I haven't seen in my life.
Say that again.
I've read it like 7 times. Nothing, not every year, but I read it every so often.
Yeah, and so what winds up happening is that the reason we read something or look at something is because we're looking at it with different eyes.
Mhm.
We're reading it with a different mind because we've grown. That's why when Lancelot kind of laughs at me a little bit, because when I say I'm getting better every day, is because of that. Because the more knowledge I get, the different way I can look at something, right? So every day I'm looking to impart that knowledge that I gather with anybody who's willing to listen to me. But I don't want to vomit on anybody either.
So,
Go for it.
see, forward to you, what you just said, how many times have you heard people say, or you may have, what you were just saying, it's like you've heard somebody say the same thing over and over and over again, or you go to a conference and you've heard the person speak, or you've heard a topic discussed 1,001 times, but it's the 1,002 or second time that it actually sinks in, right?
Mhm.
And it's because that's when number one, you're ready to take it, you're ready to receive it, and you've grown so you can take it. I mean, it's how many times you've gone to a conference and you've heard somebody speak and it's like, oh my God, and it lands. It's like, I've heard that before, but then it's like, ooh, right? It's like
Yeah,
that light bulb.
you know what's annoying? It's actually something that makes me chuckle quite a bit. I mean, I don't vocalize it, especially in the moment, but I internalize it and I just kind of know where to pour into others and where not to, right? When you're talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I'm aware. I know. And they like know what you're saying every single time, but they're not doing it. And I'm like if you're talking to somebody that's further down the line than you and what you're trying to do, it's not about what you know and what you supposedly already know. It's listen, pay attention and listen and ask yourself, what can I take away from what is being told to me? What is the new perspective on what I quote unquote already know that I should be walking away with? Because it's that attitude. It's really an attitude shift. It's that attitude of like, I already know. And if you already know, then there's no need for you to go to these masterminds or read more books or hire coaches or take courses and programs because you've arrived. You already know it all, right? But people have this disposition, and these very same people say, "Oh, well, I'm still learning, and I haven't arrived, of course." But again, it's like what comes out of your mouth. Your actions speak so loudly, I hear not what you say. So it has to be. We have to have this disposition of knowing that we don't know. And of course, if somebody's telling me like, hey, by the way, when your kid doesn't want to eat vegetables, this is how you make them eat vegetables, right? Now in that case I could say, yeah, I know that because my kids eat vegetables. Okay, and yeah, and I get that, and my kids, and I know how to make them eat vegetables. But if somebody's for example, working a full-time job and trying to transition into a full-time entrepreneurship and they haven't done it, and you're telling them how to do that because you've done it, and they're like, well, I know. I mean, do you really know? That's really the piece is, so it really comes down to asking the right questions, because that's important. And when you're in a mastermind, you got to ask the right questions. It's a matter of understanding the purpose of the mastermind. The purpose of the mastermind is not to sit there from the pulpit and to just talk the entire time about all the things you do know. It's about a collective mind coming together so that a third mind is created, so we can all gather these new ideas, right? New concepts. So that's really what it comes down to. And sometimes it's not so much about teaching people something or even learning a new technique or a new strategy. Sometimes it's just an idea that's created in your mind that wasn't there before because of the collective that just happened, right? And that one idea can quite literally shift your entire life or business.
And if I can,
after you, I'm going to say something myself.
If I can expound on that, take those new ideas, those new things that you've learned, and then apply them. That's the most important thing. It's not to just that day or that weekend learn, but then apply what you're learning to help you move forward. And I say that because Danny, see, I always mention him, but he what he says, his concept is so moving to me that I used it last Thursday. I listened to him and then I used what he talked about last Thursday. And the experience was so elevated because I went in with the intention of what he said, and that is to serve. So I went into an event early with the concept and with thought of serving and making sure everybody was having a good time. I wound up spending a little more money because I was buying people drinks, and that's not usually me, but it was because of the intention. It was very important for me not to sit around and have people come to me, but actually go to people, make sure they're having a good time, introduce myself. All of that was because of the concept of Danny Z and what he and how he goes about orchestrating his life when he gets into these masterminds. So I say all that to say it's one thing to hear about the concept, is one thing to learn, but then you have to take what you've learned and apply that to your everyday life.
Yeah, I love the way Danny Z shows up. He's there to help in any which way he can, and we do that as well, right? In our masterminds, we're always when I show up somewhere, I'm always, how can I help? What can I do? Put me to work. Usually, that's what I say. Put me to work. And they're like, you're a guest. You're a keynote speaker. I'm like, I am another human being, another body that can move things. If you need me to move things, if you need me to take notes, if you need me to do something, put me to work. So the story I wanted to share with you guys is, we all know the story about if you teach a man to fish, right? So I was in the North Shore here in Long Island, and I'm by this rocks, and it's beautiful. It's the ocean, and there's a lot of men casting their fishing lines, right? And they're not catching anything. Along comes he had to be 10 and 11 years old. This little kid comes with a bucket and his reel. He goes, within a minute, he caught the first fish. Takes it, looks at it, beautiful, big. It was a small fish. It was a big one. He could have kept it. He could put it in his bucket. And he threw it. He untangled it, threw it back in the water. Within 20 seconds, another one. And he kept doing that. And I would say within 10 minutes, the kid caught about 30 fish. Now, he didn't keep any of them. All the men on those rocks, and I was loving every second of it. All those men on the rocks were in awe of him. Not one of them who was having trouble getting a fish, because when he was there, nobody caught fish. Nobody, just him. And all these guys, they were in awe of this kid, and they were like a little bit jealous and like, what the heck's he doing? None of them said to the kid, teach me what you're doing. None of them, right? And it was whatever he had in his bucket that made him catch the fish. That's what nobody looked in the bucket, but I saw him go in the bucket, put something on his thing, throw the line out, and every single time he was getting something. So the thing is, there was no mastermind on those rocks by the ocean. There was one master, and that was a 10-year-old. And all the other guys, their egos were too big to ask for help or guidance. Maybe that's him calling now. So think about what a mastermind could do. Would you want that young man in your mastermind if it was a mastermind on fishing? If it was a mastermind on how to negotiate something that everybody had trouble doing? So when we come together with a mastermind, It's not about being the one brilliant person in the room. It's bringing a bunch of brilliant people into the room so we can all share. How'd you do this? How'd you do that? Oh, I'm having trouble doing this. How do we figure it out? I need some help with this area. And that's how we curate our masterminds. Any thoughts on the fishing?
I was trying to figure out what the point was, but I see it's.
I mean, I notice one thing as we get older, and I notice this from an outside perspective, just being very observant. As people tend to get older, there's either two ways it can go. They can either become more wise, more open-minded, and realize that they don't know everything and that there's so much more to learn, or they can become more stubborn and stuck in their ways and realize they know everything. So either you can become the wise old man or you can become the stubborn old man. I'm definitely leaning towards the wise old man. I want all the information from everybody. Until the day I die, I'll still be learning.
That's called being
Lancelot, you get my point of the story now?
Yeah. It was like, I was like, okay, where's this going? But it's about, I thought it was about, you can always learn from anybody, even from a little kid. It's like when you start making judgments on who's speaking, or if you meet a guy that's homeless and you start making a judgment on the homeless guy, and this homeless guy got all kind of wisdom. I kind of thought that's, after a while, it was about learning from a child, and then don't judge a book by its cover. He had all the information and nobody asked him because he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But also sharing in the mastermind, it's not about one person having all the knowledge, right? Without somebody, and if somebody does have all that knowledge, they don't have all the knowledge. They have specific knowledge. And that's where the mastermind comes in, because the five of us here all have different knowledge. And we can all shine in our road, and we can shine our light in this area. But if we all put all our lights together, it would be just that much brighter.
And even so, even if you get a group of collective people that all share the same or similar knowledge, everybody sees through a different lens. So everybody has a different point of view to bring to the table. There's so many different ways that people see the same image.
True that.
Well, I guess I'll go back to what Marco said earlier, because I love what you said earlier. You said basically lifelong learning without saying those words. But that's essentially my kind of life and how I live it. Is I'm aware that there's more that I don't know than I do know, right? Part of my reasoning behind why I'm surrounded by thousands of books in my personal library, between what's in my office and scattered around the house and in my room and you name it, part of the reason why is because it reminds me how little I know, right? It keeps me humble. It keeps me with this insatiable thirst for knowledge, knowing that, hey, as much as you think you might know, there's so much more to know that you don't know. And it keeps you hungry. It keeps you thirsty. It keeps you striving for more. And in I guess, since we're talking about learning and lifelong learning, at least from what you mentioned, one of the biggest things that a lot of people need to learn out there in an entrepreneurial space, and I had to learn this myself, is don't ask, how much does this cost? Like don't make that the driving force as to whether you go to our event in Atlanta. Because everybody, what they focus on is the cost. They just look at, okay, what is this going to cost? How much is the ticket, right? And that's their focus. And that's the deciding factor, is it's based on the cost. It's not about that, right? Of course, there's the other perspective that we've heard countless times. Oh, what is the cost if I don't get in the room, right? That's more expensive. But it's also just the idea that, hey, it's not about the cost, because the cost is just the price of admission. And you can always get creative to get resourceful to find more value and to get ROI and to do all the things. But there's a famous quote from Napoleon Hill that I will quote now. And since we're on Napoleon Hill, opportunity often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. right? So opportunity often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Now, if you've gone to events or you've tried to do certain things that don't work out the way you wanted to, or you didn't get ROI, or whatever the case is, can I tell you something? What can you learn from that? How can I come back stronger? Does it mean I stop? No. If you are dating somebody and you get cheated on, are you going to say, I'm not going to get married ever? Forget that. I'm done dating. No. You're going to learn from that experience and you're going to go back to the dating scene after a little bit and you're going to go back smarter. And eventually you're going to find your significant other. That's the way life works. If you joined another community of some kind and you got burned in another community, are you not going to join other communities because now I'm not going to join your group, Jose, Connected Leaders Academy, because I've been a part of this other group over there and they sucked and they burned me and I whatever. No, you got to be vulnerable again. You got to be willing to be hurt. You got to be willing to lose. You got to be willing to fail, fall on your face and get back up and keep moving forward. It's called failing forward. So when it comes to asking for the cost, okay, that will be a point of the conversation at some point. And does it matter? Yes, it does matter. But we're leaders, and leaders are resourceful. Leaders find a way to win. Leaders don't make excuses. Leaders are very strategic and they're intentional and they find ways to get things done. So I always say make it happen. So when it comes to lifelong learning, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is stop worrying about the price or mission and focus on the bigger play.
Absolutely. And Dylan from Ireland said, "Be St. Patrick's Day from Ireland."
Yo, thank you, Dylan.
So before we go any further, let me share this video with you guys. Take a look.
Have you been networking for years, meeting great people, having good conversations, but still feel like you're doing it alone? This might be the reason. Most people don't fail because they lack connections. They fail because they never turn connections into relationship capital. Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I've watched incredibly talented people stay stuck, not because they weren't capable, because they were randomly networking instead of building the right relationships intentionally. You see, in my system, we don't just exchange contacts. We build trust, we mastermind, we create strategic connections that actually move people forward personally and professionally. I work one-on-one with clients who are done guessing. My team and I bring clarity to their direction, sharpen their strategy, and help them leverage the relationships that matter most. If this sounds familiar, don't ignore it. Stop collecting contacts and start building relationship capital. I'm Jacqueline, and I'd like to connect with you.
And by the way, Jacqueline was our sponsor in Tampa, and we're so happy that you were able to sponsor Tampa. So one of the questions that I have for a lot of people who are considering coming to our event, and like Jose said, oh, how much is it? It's because some people are not looking at their ROI, right? And if you don't know what ROI is, just hit us up. We'll go into detail for that with you. And when we consider why do we even go to an event, even an event that we don't host, like Jose goes to events that he doesn't host or even sponsor, he just buys a ticket. Same thing for Lancelot, same thing for myself and Jacqueline. And Marco's not going to be at every event that we have. So the reason that we all go to events is really for what Jacqueline just spoke about, the connections. That's why we go to events. That's why I go to events. That's why I've been going to events for way over 30 years. I know it's hard to imagine that. I'm older than the events that I've been to. So, but I've been at so many different events. I've met so many incredible people at events, people that I can actually say I'm still connected with 30 years later, right? Over 30 years. I've been going to events. I think the first event I went to was in 1984, right?
Wow.
And it wasn't even in New York. It was out of state. And it was an event that had thousands of people. I met some people, and it was really an eye opener. And I got hooked on going to events. And it's not about. Don't get me wrong. I've been to many events that I would never want to ever go back to, but I still don't want to say that that was a bad event because I learned something. I'm always looking to learn, right? Like we're all of us here in this panel, we are always looking to learn because we never know who is going to impact certain amount of knowledge on us. So masterminding with the right people will elevate you in so many ways, not just business, but personally, right?
Yeah, one thing Danny Z had said when we were in Tampa is no matter how bad an event can possibly be, it doesn't really matter how much he paid because at least he can say he walked away with some value or a golden nugget. And that's what truly matters going to the events is not how much the price tag is, but what you get to walk away with and what you get to give to the others that also walk away with value.
Mm-hmm. So were you a little surprised, Lancelot, that I've been to so many events from so
like since 1984? Hell yeah. I was like, wow, that's a lot of events. That's a lot of events. But God bless.
That's met Jose at so many different events.
Wow.
I mean, not since 1984. I was born in '83, so that didn't happen. But I can tell you that I've been to a ton of events. Yeah, Grant Cardone, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, Jack Canfield. I mean, I can go on and on and on with all the different rooms I've been in. Those are just big names, and there's many more, but also just as even small names or up and coming names. I've just been in so many, summits, conventions, masterminds, boot camps, you name it, workshops, local networking events, and again, it all accrues over time. If you go in with the right disposition to these events, there is a reason for it, right? Nobody has time, energy, and resources to just throw away going from event to event. I'm a social guy, but it's not just because I want to hang out. I can hang out with my family. You know what I mean? It's because I understand the value of being around the collective minds that are up and coming, that are growing, that have that vision, they have mission, they have purpose. And yeah, it's just an amazing thing when you're around those people.
Now, question: those big events, do you feel the same? Do you get the same out of them as you do the smaller events, the more intimate?
So I get things out of all events, right? The big, massive events are. This is the thing: the deeper connections, the deeper conversations happen in the more intimate events. So there is the pros there. The pros for the bigger, massive scale events is the ROI is bigger. And the reason why I say that is because I end up talking to more people and I end up getting more conversations to follow up with, and more people come into my world. Right. So, but then again, sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes I have deeper conversations in the bigger events, and then sometimes the ROI is bigger in a smaller event. So there's pros and cons to everything. There is no one size fits all when it comes to events, but I can tell you all events, whether they're massive, 35,000 people at a 10X event that I've been to in Florida for Grant Cardone, or it's, 15, 12 people, or even 30 or 50 people. They all have their own value and their own reason for being there, and you can get anything out of any event that you're at. Really, it depends on the approach and how you handle
it. Can I talk about how we show up at an event, and in order to capitalize on your ROI? I believe that if you sit in the nosebleed, that's what you're going to get the most of. So that means, for me, and I know Jose likewise, I always do VIP. Jose knows. He goes, I said, only if I can do VIP. There is no other way for me to go to an event unless it's VIP. The reason I do that is because the connections are better. And I'm not putting anybody down who sits in the regular seats, but sometimes those are people who are just starting out. And there's nothing wrong with somebody starting out because they have great ideas too. But for me, I want to sit with established people, people who already have done it, who actually, maybe I have an area in my life that I need work on, and they already have done it. So I would rather sit with that kid who's fishing and getting, 30 fish in 10 minutes compared to all those guys who were already on the rocks and this kid came and blew them away. I'd rather sit with that kid if I want to do better fishing. I wasn't fishing that day and I really don't fish, right? I was just there to enjoy the scenery. And so who do I want to sit with? Personally, I want to sit with that kid. Maybe 10 years old. But guess what? That's what the VIP is going to get me, to sit with somebody like that, to sit with somebody who knows what I need to know. That's why I always go with VIP. And because you sit in VIP doesn't mean that you can't go and talk to the people who didn't pay for some people have free seats. Some events give away seats entirely for zero. And there's nothing wrong with being in VIP and then going and just talking to everybody. So the VIP gives you that special leg up, if you will, because now you have an opportunity to talk to every single person at the event. But if you only get regular seats, you're limited. That's the reason I do. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
Well, not necessarily specifically that, but I'm going to wait because I know Jacqueline was about to say something. So Jacqueline, go first, and then I'll go after you.
All right. Well, there's two things I wanted to share because I think if you're an entrepreneur, if you are growing your business, and specifically an entrepreneur, because there isn't the Entrepreneurs Association conference for all entrepreneurs. I mean, there are organizations, there's entrepreneurs organization, but there's not like the big, and I'm going to give the example of the Academy of Pediatric Ophthalmology conference or the Academy of Lawyer conference, right? So all the events that are out there, seek them out as an entrepreneur and seek them out to go to gain knowledge. Because I want to give you the comparison. If you go see a doctor and that doctor has been in practice for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, or the attorney has been in practice, or the dentist, and they never go to any conferences to learn from other people, what happens to them? They become stagnant. They don't learn. They don't learn the new things. They don't get knowledge. They don't hear the research that somebody else is doing. So as an entrepreneur, you need to find the events that are going to give you the knowledge, learn from the research that's being done, learn from other people. Otherwise, you will be stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you need to always be growing and going. And I'm saying that I'm about to go to Boston for joining my husband as he's going to a conference, but I'm going and thinking about all the people that I can meet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know why? You know why, Jacqueline? Because you're a winner. and winners understand the value of this, right? Like you get it, and I love that you get it because like your energy. When I see your disposition to want to show up at events and what can I do? Let me meet all the people. Let me shake the hands. Let me get involved. Like that is a magnetic thing that we can all learn from for sure.
Well, thank you. But the thing is, it's one of those things, and I'll share, like, being, for a couple of years, I didn't go. And I can't begin to tell you how much it drained me because I wasn't getting out there and meeting other people. And I was so excited, like, to go to the first New York City experience that I happened to go to in December. It was like, it's because it raises your energy level because you start to be around other people. So really, and then if you're around the VIP, it doesn't always have to be the VIP, but you want to make sure that you are shaking the right hands. So if you're going to an event, think about the people that are going to be there, learn about who's attending. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, stalk them, really, I mean, find out who is attending on LinkedIn. Look at who's going to be there. Find ways to research who's going to be in that room that you're going into, and make a list of who you want to meet. Who's the person whose hand you want to shake? Because you also want to walk in intentionally. And Heather, I'm going to message you because yes, we need to get together.
That is pretty cool. You guys are about to meet each other in Boston. So I have 3 very quick points, and when I say very quick, I mean like very quick, because obviously we're coming up to the hour, and I want to make sure everybody gets their final thoughts. But I hope you guys are sitting down for this one. This is stuff that if internalized and kicked around a little bit, can make all the difference. All right. So the first key point I want to kind of bring up is, right, when we go to these events, whether it's our mastermind event that we're doing with New York City Experience, wherever we're moving, or in New York, or in this case, Atlanta in September, or you're just doing a mastermind in your local area, or you're doing a mastermind in your own communities or your own group or with your clients, whatever the case is, right? The mastermind gives you the blueprint, the idea, the concept, the strategy, right? But you still have to build the house. So the mastermind experience will give you the blueprint of kind of like where to lay things and what to do, but you still got to build it.
Got to do it. That's right.
Right? You still got to build it. Don't think that the mastermind is going to solve all your problems, because if you don't execute and you don't do the things, you're not going to do what you need to do. All right. So that's the first thing I want to share with you guys. The second concept that's very important to understand, at least from today, take away, if anything, is get in rooms where your excuses get exposed. All right. So what we're doing in these masterminds is you're hearing other people say, oh, I went through this and I had this going on and I still did this and this is how I did it. And then you're like, oh crap, and you swallow your excuse. And you're like, oh, well, if they can do it, I mean, and sometimes you're thinking, well, if that person can do it, I definitely can do it, right? So, and people think that about me all the time. So at the end of the day, it's quite simple. Get in the rooms where your excuses get exposed. Because remember, your excuses only matter to you, not to anybody else. Even if people have a heart to tell you, hey, I feel bad for that, and I get that and all that. And we do, right? Because we have empathy and we have understanding and we, all those things, right? But at the end of the day, it only matters to you. So just know that it's important to get into those right rooms. And the last point I want to make here is your next level, whatever that is, and we all have a next level. Your next level is hidden in someone else's perspective. Okay, so when you are in these mastermind experiences, that little golden nugget, that idea, the concept, the strategy, the technique, the threshold of what needs to happen for you is literally sitting in the mind of somebody else with their perspective on it. As Marco mentioned earlier, all the different perspectives. We can all look at something and see 2 different things from 2 different people, and we're looking at the same thing, right? So it's just a matter of sometimes hearing somebody else's perspective on the same thing will be like an aha moment for you. And you're going to be like, okay, I didn't think of it from that angle. I didn't see that. Oh my gosh, I wasn't thinking laterally, and those types of things. So those are 3 points that I think if we internalize those can make a lot of difference.
Nice.
Love it.
Very true.
What are your thoughts, Lancelot?
Well, I would say this. It's not enough to learn. It's not enough to gather information. It's not enough to go to these incredible experiences like our experience, the New York City experience. You have to implement what you've learned. That's very important. And you have to gain the knowledge, but then you have to apply that knowledge with the intention to grow and get better each and every day. And that would be my advice. Come, and like Jose always says, you reverse engineer in regards to the price, reverse engineer it, sign up, and then figure out how you're going to get there. But then when you get there, most important thing to do is to learn and apply what you're learning.
I got to tell you, somebody recently just said to me, the amount of value I've received from the New York City experience has blown me away. I said, what do you mean? They're like, the connections, the business opportunities I've had, and the partnerships that I've established because of your mastermind. They were thanking me, basically. And so when I said, are you coming to the next one? They said, you better believe I am. It's because every time I come to them, I find so much value. So if you're looking for value, we have a place for you. Come find it. And Atlanta is going to be Ascend, right? Because we ignited that rocket. Now we're just going to take it up.
September 25th to the 27th, folks. You got to get there.
That's it.
Atlanta's a great place to be.
That's right.
It's going to be great.
Good old ATL. Might see Little John or somebody out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, guys.
All right, everybody.
Leo, Angelina, Jacqueline, Marco, Jose, Seafood. Have a great week, guys.
Happy St. Patrick's, folks.
Yeah, and
Happy
happy St. Patrick's Day. That's right. That's
St.
right.
Patty's Day, everybody.
Patty's Day.
Later.
Put more green on, Jose.
Later, y'all.
Bye.
Super excited. It was such an amazing experience speaking, and I'm so energized and excited.
Everyone brought the energy, the motivation, and the tools to actually implement to accelerate as a business owner.
I'm really happy to hear the New York experience. We just had some of the speakers come up and they were fantastic.
Awesome experience. The quality of people and the quality of the speakers were truly inspirational.
Let me just tell you, the impact in the room, the energy in the room was unbelievable. If you miss this event, there's another event coming up in Tampa. You don't want to miss that event.
It's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds. A movement of momentum. Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance.
Sifu Rafael with the New York City Mastermind Experience. I am here with Lancelot and Jose. We're taking it to Tampa.
Real excited to bring our New York City experience to another state. Tampa, watch out, because here we come.
Get your tickets today, folks. We want to see you in Tampa, Florida. Again, NYC Experience in Florida. Get there. Get your tickets now. We'll see you there.
Elevation, that's the sound, NYC.